Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon out of Hakoin. A little bit rushed today. I actually just came in from a flight. Came from the airport. It was an hour and a half flight. I came in from Karachi. Karachi is the place where Benjamin Netanyahu's father once lived. Before the creation of Pakistan, he actually lived there. So I don't know exactly what year he left, but I actually went to the city where he lived. It's a great city, a nice big city, but I guess a lot of improvements need to be made in that city. But nevertheless, it's, to me it looked like a great city, good city. Needs work, but of course every city needs work. Which city is there in the world that don't need work? But nevertheless, it was a good stay. I had stayed with my friend over there for the last 3 days, which was pretty neat. Just had a little look around, went to a few places. They have a seaside over there as well, although it wasn't a great beach. It was a little dirty. I was told that many years ago there was a tanker that I don't know, it clashed or tore apart or something happened. Fuel went into the water, and they said that they didn't quite clean up the operations as neatly as they could, and that they were told that this water will be dirty for the next 100 years. And I think that happened many years ago. So they're not quite at the 100-year mark yet. Maybe it's 20 years, 30 years. I'm not sure, but that part of the beach did look the water looked a little murky, because crude oil tends to either it can float up or it can float. It can be down under the down close to the seabed or in the water somewhere. So definitely an interesting sight. City with lots of buildings, lot of hustle and bustle. I went and met up my friend, one of the colonels in the military. I had spent some good time with him last night. Some great conversation with the professor and with him. So it was pretty neat all around, and came back this morning. I actually just came back now. It was like a mid-afternoon flight, so not so bad. Now, the interesting part is that you over there are going to be on the 8th day of the festival of Yom Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles. The 8th day, Shemini at Etseret, which is considered to be a very auspicious day. And you also might know that today is 10-10-20. 10-10-20 as a date will never happen again, more than likely, because it's a kind of special numbers. 10-10-20. 10, as you know, are the 10 attributes of Yahweh, and 20-20 again, they have significance. If you add those numbers up, depends how you add them up, they'll add up to 4 directions. 10-10 can add up to 20, but 10-10 by itself is 10 attributes. And then we have the 10, and then we have the 20-20. I met some people over there, some people who are trying to keep the Torah. I had a good chat with them, and spent a couple of hours chatting with them, and I told them that the route they'd taken, the man over there, he's hated a lot by the people around him, Christians especially, because he's technically bashing their festivals. He's always talking against Christmas and Easter, and even against other things that they do, Jesus including. So I had a chat with him, and I explained to him that the route he's taken is not going to lead to anywhere but unhappiness for him and unhappiness for everybody else, because that is not the way to propagate and teach Torah. So exactly. So I told him that Christmas, I said, you may not know in your country that Christmas you consider a holy festival, and Christians over here, it may well be a holy festival. But I said, I've lived in England pretty much my whole life and spent some time in America. I told him that in England, nobody really gives two hoots about Christmas being a holy festival. I said they care more about a tradition. To them, it's a tradition of coming to the parents sitting down with a family, having a family meal together. I said that's what their Christmas is about. And I would encourage you never to speak against Christmas again, or Easter for that matter, or even Jesus. Because what are you actually achieving? Where are you at with the Torah? Where are the blessings that should be in your life? So I explained to him that, your whole methodology is all screwed up. You spend way too much time with the Christians, then the Messianics, and now you're here. And the Messianics, he said that he trained some of them, they were his students, and now they're, in separate groups. So I explained to him that he really needs to walk away from all of that, and he needs to focus on the core aspects of Torah. Core aspects. The core aspects of Torah are not about Jesus, they're not about Christmas, they're not about Easter. They are about truth, they're about justice, and they're about blessing your lives, enriching yourself with the Torah commands. So, gave him a few bits and pieces, explained to him that his methods are going to lead to pretty much nothing, and that's not the way to go about propagating a message or being a light to the Gentiles. So maybe he'll understand, maybe he won't. Time will tell. Although problem is this, that we have come so far up in ourselves that we do not see those things the way some of these people see them over here. And I said that, of course, if you're going to attack somebody's favorite person, you're going to attack their favorite festival, you're going to create enmity. And that enmity is not where you want to be. That is not where your life should be rotating. You want to be tolerant to other people's views. You want to do things that apply to you, core values, and you should be only talking about core values that apply to you and to your students perhaps. And then from there on, the message can go out other places. And I explained to him that how, show me a single passage anywhere in our books that says that we have to go and fight with the Gentiles, we have to subdue them, we have to force them to drop their festivals, we have to make sure that they follow our Torah. Show me, where does it say any of that? And I said, you will not find single verse is too much. I said, you won't find a single word. We were never commanded to go after the Gentiles. We were never commanded to go and debate with them. I said, this is all Gentiles. This is all Gentile. This is all ways that I don't even know. That is what you're presently doing. So I said, don't go there. Stay away. So, they're so far away, they don't even know how to apply the perfect law. They don't even know the perfect law. I said, what about teaching about the principles of reincarnation? And he hasn't heard about that. He didn't know what reincarnation is. He said, I've never heard about it. I don't have any understanding in the matter. So I said, get understanding. And he said, can you point me to some verses in the Torah? I said, even if I gave you the verses, you can read them 1 million times and you'll never understand it. Because you don't have the eyes and you don't have the ears to understand. You don't have the eyes to see, you don't have the ears to understand. So it's not about just giving you one verse or two verses. I said, first, you need to change your worldview. Your worldview is at the wrong place. First, fix your worldview. Then I will show you a small amount where you can start to understand it, and you'll be freeing up so many people with the truth that you will give at that point of just about heaven and hell. Just about heaven and hell, when you tell people the truth about it, you will free up so many people from anguish and grief. Is that more common? Is that a greater cause? Or is a greater cause to go attack Christmas? Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, that is correct, Eddie. The reincarnation issue was the reason why the Pharisees and others accused the Sadducees of not believing in resurrection, heaven, hell. Well, basically, the Sadducees were right. There is no heaven and hell. And they were talking about not a single resurrection. You see, Sadducees' understanding wasn't what Christians tell you. That is right. Sadducees are the priesthood. And so the Sadducees believed, just as I believe, of resurrection, not resurrection as one-off event. They believed in reincarnation. And this was one of the things that irked the religious world at the time, because they wanted to believe in a single resurrection like Christians do today. And they wanted to believe in a heaven and hell, so they wanted to believe in punishment. And the Sadducees said, no, there is no punishment after death. Everything happens here, in this world. So the Sadducees were right. Everything happens in this world. When we die and we go up, we are sent back into reincarnation. Our souls are put in new bodies, and we then circulate into a new life again. So that view is absolutely correct. And you may hear this view from Christians that might say, oh, the Sadducees, they argued with Pharisees about resurrection. But what they don't tell you is that it wasn't resurrection per se. It was reincarnation. That's the split. And there were Christians in the first century that believed in reincarnation as well. But later, the church dogma, as it adopted very strict dogma about heaven and hell, and Jesus is, what Jesus is and what he is not. At that point, they switched to a model of heaven being a literal place, hell being a literal place, resurrection being literal, and so on and so forth. And that's a 400-year later dogmatic statement that came from the church fathers. It was not something that was believed in initially, because people knew that there was no place for heaven and no place for hell on earth, or at least in the abode above. So this is basically that. Now, Adelia, you're asking that Shabbat Shalom, do you have the French study Tanakh? No, I don't have the Tanakh, but I do have the Torah. Yeah, there is a Torah in the French. And by the way, one of my students, Marie, in Texas, I'm very grateful to her. She translated the book, The Law of Attraction versus the Perfect Law. She translated it into French for me from English. So I do have that in French now. It's available online in PDF and Kindle format and paperback. The Torah is available only in French, not the whole Tanakh, no, because I don't have a person to translate. It's a very big project, and it's not easy to get it translated, the way it is, because it is quite complex. So coming back to the festival, today is your last day of the festival of Yom Sukkot, and then the next 2 days that you're outside Israel, it will be the rejoicing of the Torah. So you give thanks, you have some time with the family, spend time and so on and so forth, and you give thanks for the Torah and the commandments that we've been given. Also remember this, that during festivals, a question might come up, and you may not have an answer for this. The question might come up, can you travel on the Sabbath? And the answer is yes. I just did today. I caught a flight today of 1.5 hours. Came back home. I went there. I met up with the students of Torah and some other people. So during our festivals and Sabbaths, it was common custom for us to travel. I'm talking about the ordinary Israelites. They traveled cities, and they went to priests. They went to see the Kohen. They also went to see the prophet or a seer. So if there was a prophet or a seer or a judge, they would go to see on this day, like during festivals, during Sabbaths. So if somebody tells you today, oh, you're not allowed to travel on the Sabbath, that's actually a pure factual lie. It's not true at all. So remember that for your journey, as you're traveling in this journey with us, that there may come time that you may have to travel out to meet family. You're allowed to do that. Pure and simple. Whatever else you see around us is Rabbinic Judaism and not Torah. What you are seeing is Torah versus Rabbinic Judaism. So hopefully that's that. Any other questions that you have, I may answer, or we'll continue. Now, we did speak about execution last week and detachment. Now, so it's very important to understand that detachment and also a poverty consciousness. Because somebody asked me the question about a poverty consciousness, and I'll come back to that. Eddie, you're saying that why do you think the Pharisees became popular and people stopped listening to Sadducees? Again, it's almost similar to, it's not that the Sadducees were not popular. The Sadducees were actually very famous. People did listen to them. And the people did not reject their doctrines. That is not true. People did listen to the Sadducees. People did listen, even obeyed them. The problem is like in any problem. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. Who do you side with? And you side with popular, who's your favorite? If Mr. Trump is your favorite, even if Mr. Trump is doing wrong, you might still be with him. More than likely you'll be with him. So it's absolutely, Rabbi Kefa, it's a major rule mentality. Today, I can tell you, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I can tell you that the Republican Party is not 100%, crossing the I's and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But popular culture, people will, no matter what, they're like diehards for the Republicans. But the Republicans are sometimes too far right. And when you're too far right, justice doesn't prevail. Justice actually dies. So this is why people have to think that, voting is coming up. And you can decide who you want to vote for. But the point I'm making is that don't think it's always a fine, there's a fine line, and it's not always completely clear that which party is right, because popular vote, popular opinion, a lot of the time only popular opinions matter. They don't care about who's making them. So, give an example. Years ago, I had a debate with a Jewish scholar in a church. It was very popular in that church. I absolutely demolished him in the debate. Absolutely demolished him. But he was very popular. So the people held on to the popularity of the man. They didn't accept the teachings that I gave them versus his, teachings with me. He had completely lost the debate. It was a flop. Total flop. But because people liked him, they still voted for him. So popular opinion mattered in that church, not truth and facts. And today, truth and facts stand out, and his opinion is nowhere to be seen. What he was teaching, total crap. Is not even true. But what I taught is now today evident. So don't ever think that popular opinion, doesn't count. It counts, and popular opinions always with majority rule. And you have probably seen yourself in America, we've seen it in America, that we had the RGB, the judge, who was very famous, a human rights judge. And let's talk about human rights for a change. Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. Because the Pharisees became popular, that's absolutely correct. They removed the history of the Sadducees' teachings, but the Sadducees were much loved. People loved the Sadducees. They didn't actually say, "Oh, we don't want to follow the Sadducees." They did follow them. They held on to them, but the popularity was with the Pharisees and the Judaism of that time. Today, we see RGB died, and Amy, the new judge, is being at least asked to be appointed. Now listen to this. Those of you who love the Republican Party. The Republican Party is two-faced. In what way? Contradictory and hypocrites. Why? Because it's the same party that said in 2016 a new nominee, a new judge, justice, cannot be put in place during an election year. And they all said that. And so they did not let President Obama appoint a new nominee at the time of the election. But today, they're all contradicting their own speech by saying that no, we should appoint a new justice before the election, or at least before the inauguration of the president or the new president. So, my point is this, that I'm not going to sit here and take sides with the Republicans or Democrats, but I can tell you that if you want to side with the Republicans, then the Republicans have made statements in 2016 that are pure factual lies. Yet today, popular vote, everybody talks about Republicans. The news channels like Fox News are so far to the right. What about the opinion of what about justice for the minority? We need to look at that. I mean, is the new justice, Amy, is she going to hold up justice, human rights? Is she going to hold that? And I mean, you can judge it yourself, because a lot of the people are saying no, she's too far to the right. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not one-sided party myself. I look at where justice is and what's going on. So therefore, I speak about this country here where I am right now. The party that's in rule is the most terrible prime minister that we have in this country. People are suffering. Common people over here are suffering because there is no control over food prices, over bills that people pay, and general living standard is very low for people who have low salaries. So the Prime Minister of this country, who was a famous cricketer, I said about him yesterday, I was with the Colonel, and I said to the Colonel, because he likes this Prime Minister, I said, your Prime Minister, I said, he is an idiot. I said, he is a terrible Prime Minister. I said, he has no clue about how to govern the country. I said, he has made many people's lives extremely difficult. How can you support such a person? And he didn't have an answer for that. And the other person, who was a professor that was sitting there, he said to me that, you're right, but the problem is that he doesn't have the experience. I said, yeah, he has the experience to be in cricket. He was good on the playground, but this is not a playground. I said, we're dealing with people and their lives. And I have seen people cry. I have sat with people in different places. I've seen them cry about their paying their electric bills. They shed tears over that, and they said, we don't have the money to pay. We don't know what to do. Yeah, Eddie. TikTok is banned over here. You're right, because there's all this going on over here. So my point is this, that you see, it's not about, governance is a very fine art, and not everybody gets it right. So there are no black and whites over here. It's not something you learn in political schools. Governance is about justice. And our Torah teaches us justice. Our Torah teaches us that for justice, says justice you will pursue. So for governance to pursue justice, it's very difficult, because if you start taking sides, then you're not going to pursue justice. And unfortunately in America right now, people are not pursuing justice. They're taking sides. And that's where we're going to, that's where the Americans are divided. Americans by themselves are good people. But when you have political leaders that are only doing politics for benefit of corporations, benefit of individual rich families, that people today call them Illuminatis and other things, then there is no justice. So a lot of this is going on, and some people blindly, even though it's in their face, they blindly follow that which they see as popular opinion. For me, I can't do that. I can't blindly follow somebody who is not acting out just and right. Because what does a president mean? A president means somebody who's been selected by the people to act for the people. If he's doing good for the people, then that's great. Then the people are getting a fair share of what he should be doing. And if he's not acting for the people, then he is being unjust. So again, you see, America is like that. Absolutely, Yaqub. In India, we have Mr. Modi as a prime minister. He's a very popular prime minister again over there. But there's a lot of injustices in India as well. So where do we, as people stand and cross the line and say, well, I'm going to be with this party or that party? I think it's a difficult choice to make. Myself, in this country, in Pakistan, I support the opposition party, which is the Noon League, which is Nawaz Sharif's party. I've always supported them, always, throughout my life. Why? Because I have seen them act out some great projects. I have seen them act out great justice in the people, and the people love them over here. Wherever I go and I talk about their present situation, they all say, oh, we loved this man and we loved his party because he did so much for the people. He built beautiful roads, bridges, trains, planes. He did a lot of things. Today, I drove on a motorway that took me 15 minutes to get out of a very busy city, like a bypass. It's called the Lahore Eastern Bypass. And, it took me 15 minutes to get out of traffic. And if I had gone through the city and not through the bypass, my goodness, I would have been stuck there maybe for 1 hour in the traffic. But we were able to traverse it through this bypass in 15 minutes. And I was out of that, traffic zone. And I said, I can only give praise to this man, the ex-Prime Minister of Pakistan, who built that through the help of, China. So, you got to look at what's going on. It speaks for itself. Don't look at popular vote. Look at what's going on. What somebody has done for the people. Then you will know that what is right and what is wrong. We as a Torah people, we're not here to give sides to popular prime ministers. We are here to ensure that we act out justice. And if there's injustice, then we walk away from that point onwards. Now, I can tell you that Mr. President's tax statement that was leaked out, you all probably heard it in the news. Now, how much of that is true? The so-called lovers of the party will tell you, no, it's all lies, it's all fake news. But again, you got to assess it for yourself. Did our president pay $700 and some odd dollars for the tax during, the years that he's running his business? And to me, if you ask me as a businessman, I would say he's a very clever businessman. Very smart, very astute, very clever. Clever businessman. I am not saying that he's fraudulent or anything like that. I would simply say that he's very smart, very clever. He knows how to do business. Other people might say other things. But my point is this, that, business people, they do that. Not just Mr. Trump. Any businessman does that. And so they would save money, they would not pay proper taxes, and all the rich people do that. Let's just put Mr. Trump to one side. He's not the only one. So my point is this, that we need to stop taking everything as black and white, because we have to look at between the lines as well. So between the lines, there are parities. There are differences. But again, we're not politicians. We're not here to decide politics. We're not here to decide who will become the next president or not. Yes, your vote counts, and you should make it count. But I will always tell you that vote for the party that fights for justice. It doesn't matter whether they are popular or not. Vote for that party, because you will get reward. You will get reward not because of whether that party came into power or not, but you'll get rewarded because you did the right thing for the people. And we need to be in that kind of line rather than standing in the popular lines of Republicans. No, I wouldn't do that myself. So that's where I stand. And I'm over here. I'm not over there. I think I had a vote over there. It came in the post, but I'm not around, so I won't be voting. But those of you in America that do vote, I would suggest to you that you look at the candidate that provides justice to your community, support for the people, and he works for you as a candidate. That's the candidate you should vote for. And if that means liberal, Democrat, then you should vote for that. And if it means Republican, then you should vote for that person. So whoever is doing the justice is the one you stand with, and vice versa. So hopefully you understand where I stand with this. And other than that, I personally don't see the Prime Minister of this country lasting here past this election that he won. It wasn't a popular vote, by the way. It was actually a military-controlled environment, and he was brought in through the military. Everybody knows that over here. It's not, it's not a hidden news. It's common news. So I, don't see this person coming into power ever again. No one will ever vote for him again, because people really hate him. Over here, a lot of people hate him. A lot of people dislike him for what is happening in this country. So that's basically the politics here in a nutshell. I sit with politicians over here. I sit with politicians both from the far right and the far left and the middle as well. And I, get to hear all sorts of views. But to me, again, what matters is justice, not who is standing for being a candidate. So now we come back to our perfect law. As I was talking about the case of detachment, that it's very important to understand that, and Eddie, coming back to your question about the Pharisees becoming popular and the Sadducees diminishing in power, is very important to understand is that just as they were put away from history and focus was put on Pharisees instead and Rabbinic Judaism, we can see that today in a lot of places similar things are happening. Popularity contests, rather than pursuing of justice. I was speaking to somebody today, a student of mine, and I was telling him that the popularity contest will never ever be right. It might win for a time, but it will never ever be right, and it always lose in the end. I was explaining to him that the temple today, the wall, what is believed to be the temple today, is actually not the temple. I said that, by the way, was a whorehouse in history. Problem is that a lot of people don't know history. I said the Roman Legion X was based over there, and that was technically a whorehouse. Today people go there and they're putting, these papers and praying and all that. So I explained to him that the temple was nowhere near there. But what does the popular vote tell you? The popular vote tells you it was there, yet the reality is it wasn't. So, and I also explained to my student that don't ever go with popularity. Go with what's right. And I explained to him also that Bethlehem and the location of Bethlehem, all of that is misplaced today. And just because Constantine's mom, his mom saw a dream So they said, oh, Jesus was, buried over here, or he was, put in a grave over here. I said, all of that is again mishmash, it's basically crap. So you want to follow crap or you want to follow the truth? So I said, this is again comes down to somebody dreamed some place and put a, little icon or dot on it and said, oh, this is where he was buried. Pharisaical Judaism absolutely was in the first century, and there was mix. There was a mixed group. There were at least 2 to 3 different groups of Pharisaical Judaism. They were not all pervert, but there were some that were overacting in their authority versus the others who didn't. So, as I said, they were all separate groups. So you can't label all of them as pervert because they were not. But the Sadducees always held to power. The priesthood always came through the Sadducees. And the Sadducees had a place in the people's hearts until the very time the temple was destroyed and removed. So, if you want to go stand in Israel in a place where there was a whorehouse and believe that God lives there, then unfortunately, all I can say is that you probably, need to maybe stand back and look at history. Daniel, aka Torah Walker, is saying, from what I understand, it's all just tourism with the wall, and all sites have listed in the brochure I say once, like Disney World, all fake news. Yeah, absolutely. That I would agree with you, because it's all tourism, money generated, money oriented. They're giving people tours of popular sites and saying, oh, the site was over here and site was over there and this has happened over here. And that is, by the way, all mostly it's lies. It's not true mostly. Now the Jewish people know that. It's not like they don't know. They know. Jewish people who know about so-called Jesus sites, they know that most of those sites are not true. Yes, the Exodus did happen. So the Jesus sites are not true today. Those things that they claim never happened there. The Jews know that. And the Jews, they use that for business purposes. That's enough to say. Because Christians bring in money. It's business. It's always good to do business with the Gentiles. There is plenty of archaeological evidence for everything. You just have to go look, you will find evidence. So, having said that, we're not here to teach you history lesson. We are here to discuss Torah, justice, Torah principles of success, blessings, and that's where you should be focusing yourself. If your focus is in whether the cross happened, or whether people raised from the dead, or whether this happened, that happened, that focus to keep it there is absolutely useless. It's not going to get you nowhere. So you want to keep your focus where it should be. This room is called Empower Yourself with Torah and Yeshua. What's Yeshua here? Yeshua, some of you might consider him as Jesus. For us, Yeshua in the Hebrew, the word means rescue. It's not talking about a person. And we're not talking about rescue by some man. We're talking about rescue. We're not, rescue for us is not some airy-fairy statement. Rescue means, or redemption, if you want to call it redemption. I don't call it redemption. You might. It basically means that you, as a person, need rescuing from some issue in your life. Maybe you need a job. So you need to be rescued to get a job. You need God's power in your behalf to give you a job. Maybe you need business. Maybe you want to be a businessman. So Yeshua comes in. Yeshua, again, don't confuse it with the person Jesus. Yeshua means that God's plan of rescue for you comes in. And God's plan of rescue means that He will bless you in this world, in this life, to give you that business or that job. or that spouse, or that new house, or whatever it is. That's Yeshua. Yeshua always comes from the God of Israel. It's not some airy-fairy statement. It's not like, oh, I will die and I'll go to heaven. You can keep that in the church. That belief can stay in the church. We're not interested in that belief, because that belief is simply a lie that we don't follow. But what we follow is what we need is in this life and has to be real. It can't be airy-fairy. So real means real. If you want a job, it's got to be a real job to give you life, so you can support your family, and so you can do other things. So again, Todah for that, Rabbi Kefa. Again, coming back to the detachment process, we spoke about people doing their affirmations, doing a detachment. And poverty conscious question that came was that, what if you have certain amount of money a month and you can only afford to pay, let's just say $600 rent, and you say to yourself, I can only afford to pay $600 rent. I don't know, I'm earning $1,000. I'm $1,000 take home pay. I pay $600 rent. I have $400 left. I pay my bills and whatever and food, and I'm okay. Maybe something like that. And if you believe, if you go into that kind of state and believe that, that's okay, because the question was, is the person acting from poverty consciousness and saying, I can only afford to pay $600? Are they acting in poverty consciousness, or are they right to assume that? And the answer is this, that poverty conscious is not about how much rent you can pay. Poverty conscious is, are you collecting coupons? Are you always looking for a sale? That's poverty consciousness. If comes to you earning $1,200, $1,200, and you are easily able to afford $600 rent a month, then that's not poverty consciousness. That's something that is easy for you to do. You're not saying to yourself, do I need to go find a coupon to reduce my rent? Because you don't have no coupons for rent reduction. So it doesn't apply to that situation. It only applies to a poverty conscious mind, is where poverty conscious mind is always looking for sales, always looking for coupons, vouchers, and always looking for discounts. That's a poverty conscious mind. So you need to remove yourself from that. Because when you remove yourself from that, then the universe will answer to your needs, where God can work for your blessings, not vice versa. If you said to God that I need a house to live in, and of course you have to be particular, because are you asking for a rented house? Are you asking for an ownership of the house? So whatever it is, rented or ownership, you have to be particular about it, specific about it. Let's say you're specific about it, ownership. Then what God has to do is fulfill it on demand. What you want is what you get, because you're working on that with God. You're saying to God that my desire is to have a house where I can live. And so God will give you your desire. You always work your desire through the affirmations, through the detachment process, through the scripting process. You're always working on your desire. And there's no poverty consciousness about that. If you said that you want a house on rent and you're happy to pay $800 rent a month, you're happy to pay that, then God will get you a house on rent where you're happy to pay $800 rent. There's no poverty consciousness about that. But if you were a person who lived solely as, you see many women in the supermarkets who go there with, a bunch of vouchers in their hands and coupons, and all they're looking to do is get $1.50 discount every week, then that mindset is your downfall. That's what I was talking about in basic terms. Now, if you went to your friend's house and your friend said, "Hey, I feel like eating a MacD today. Let me go to McDonald's, let me get you a MacD and I'll get myself one too." And so you accept it with thanks, because that's not poverty consciousness. You've just been given a free burger by the universe, by God basically. You received it. So you receive it with thanks and gratitude. That's not attributed to poverty consciousness, because you didn't use a voucher to get there or a coupon. So, you got to understand the difference. What I'm trying to explain to you, the difference of poverty consciousness versus non-poverty consciousness. Receiving something free from a friend is not poverty consciousness. But always looking for discounts is. So, but you, like I explained last week, that you may go to a showroom on a particular day, not necessarily looking for a discount. You may just go there, you happen to be walking through and you want to buy a car, and the showroom guy says, "Hey, today we have a special sale on. We are giving everybody that walks in here 20% off." That's a gift from the universe. That's not poverty consciousness. Because you were not collecting coupons from your, Daily Herald to go and buy a car at 10% or 20% discount. So, again, there's a huge difference there, because you got to understand between what the universe is giving you, what source energy is giving you, versus what is poverty consciousness. Important to understand the two differences. So as I say that I will be putting out my book also, by the way. I will be putting out my new book called Bullseye. It's about the perfect law. It's called Bullseye. And thank you to Eddie. Eddie is the one who designed the cover for me. I'm kind of now trying to finish that book so I can put it out within the next, hopefully if I can get it out in the next month maybe. We'll see how things roll. And it's actually, what is it called? The title is Bullseye, the Law of Manifestation. It's going to be an excellent book. It's going to be excellent for you to all to read and to get a lot of good information and understanding. And all factual, tested information. All tested and how it works. So that will be coming out, hopefully. I'm looking to push it out soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but it will be before the end of the year anyway, this year. So that's that. Now, lots of things are happening around me with my students. I was speaking to my student, and he's experiencing good stuff in his life. They were saying that I went looking for a bed expecting to pay a full price, and the bed was on sale. I got the adjustable frame for free and extended warranty for the money I had. And that's great. That's great, because you see, you go there and source energy or the universe or God, God has given you that benefit, that gift, that He gives you a discount, He gives you other things that you were not expecting to get with that money, and now you got them. So that one you give thanks, because that's great. That's not a poverty conscious mind. You did good. Baruch Hashem. So, having said that, talking to my students on a day-to-day, I'm finding that some of them are doing great. Some of them are, some of them are, expecting for great things to happen soon. Some are already happening. Some are about to happen, and others will, others are in the process. So, continue to pursue righteousness. This is righteousness. That you're pursuing your dreams, which are all good for you and your families. They are great for this earth. They are great for humanity. When you go buy a car or a house, you are also benefiting another person. It's not just yourself, because you give money, you circulate the money, you benefit another person, another family, then they go do something with that money, they benefit somebody else. That's a circle. That's how the economy runs. So you're doing a great job. You'll get a house, a car for your family. Your family's happy, you're happy, and the world revolves around happiness. Happiness is a state. So you want to be in that state. So you got to be in the Moses state, where Moses state is about manifesting your desires. And these are all good things. They're not like, it's not about, you're committing an act of crime. You're committing an act of righteousness. You're doing good on this earth, and that's what you're here for. So always remember that it's not about, should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? You never need to ask that question. If you are earning a good salary, you will have a happy family. You'll be able to pay for your children's education, and you'll be able to do the things that you love to do. All good things. Going to the beach, going to theme parks, going to Disney World, all good things. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is this, that if you didn't have the money, if you couldn't circulate money, you'll be miserable, you wouldn't be happy yourself, and your family wouldn't be happy either with you. So money is energy, and it's the means by which you push and revolve and circulate to achieve happiness for yourself and for your children. So it's, treat money with respect. Always treat money with respect, because it gives you joy, it gives you the comfort that you deserve. Yael is saying that, can you explain how we help someone without causing money to think we don't cherish money? Well, very easy. Like I went to my friend's house today. Not today, I went to his house about 3 days ago. And, we were in his house. He kept us in his home for three nights. He took, we wanted to go out to some place, he took us there. He hired a little car. He took us there. He fed us in his home. He, when I said, can I have some coffee? He said, no problem. He gave us coffee. We wanted tea. He gave us tea. He gave us food. He took us places we wanted to go to. He was extremely, extremely humble. His family was very humble. They were very supportive to our needs and journey while we went there. And of course, I couldn't do anything for him this time round, because it all happened so fast. Somebody had died. I wanted to go to their family for grievance, just to basically say that I heard that their loved one died, and I was sorry to hear that. It was one of my students whose sister died. So it transpired that through that one act, that we ended up staying in another house, doing the other things that we probably were not intending to do, but they happened nevertheless. And he spent time with us, we spent time with him. We had a great 3-4 days together. And I said to him before I left, I said, I'm very grateful for your help, that you helped me. And there was another student of mine with me, 2 of us. He fed us, he kept us in his house, he put the air cooler on, the AC was on. Basically all the time we were there, it was running, incurring them bills which they're going to pay. So I said to him this when I left. I said, I'm not doing anything for you right now, because it's such a rush, and I feel that you deserve something from me as well. And I said that I'm in the process of doing a little project over here in my city, and I said, when my project is complete, I want you to come by plane. I will pay for your ticket, and you will come by plane, and you will go by plane, and I will even send a car for you to the airport. So I said, you'll come in the car from the airport to my place and back. And I said, that will be my gift to you for what you have done for us over here. As a thank you that you helped us. You came for us, you put us in your home, you fed us, and it's not going to go to waste. So that's how you help somebody, and that's how you use the money to circulate it, to help somebody who is not asking, who's not saying you have to do that for me, but you use the money for a purpose in a good way, circulate it so that it affects his life, and it explains to him, and he realizes for himself that he did a great act, a righteous act, and that he should be rewarded for it. That's how I would use money that, God has given me to assist. And that way, you will not make money feel that you don't cherish money, because you're using the money for the very thing that you have it. You're using it for the very thing that you desire to use it. And so this is how I would encourage you to use money in a good way, like, somebody that you love, somebody that is very helpful to you, is done things for you, is you give them a gift, you buy them a gift, you maybe do something for their family, maybe you pay their bill, small things, nothing big, small things that will make that person happy and realize that he's done some nice act of kindness. In return, you're doing an act of kindness upon him. So with that, I'm going to say, have a great festival, what's left, 2 days of it more. And then, in the meantime, enjoy your Shabbat over there in the high holy day. And until we speak next week. Today I thought I may not make it, but I did make it, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So have a great week ahead. I'm going to pass it to Rabbi Kefa. And until next Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Shalom.
I tell you, your internet, I give thanks to Source. Your internet is just like your next door to me, like my next door neighbor. I'm listening to you speak, and it's like you're just like my next door neighbor. And thank God for technology. A lot of people want to be judgmental of all these creators and inventors of all these technologies and the capabilities and capacities that we have today. But I tell you what, without all of these people, somebody's going to always try to find something wrong with the individual. But how many people are looking out there to find the rights in individuals? And so I really am truly grateful to Powers and to whoever invented the internet and the services over there in Pakistan. I tell you, they really put them up well. Really, really, really put them up well. You come in, Crystal. This is like 6G quality. So that's great. That's great. I'm really, really happy. On that note, I would like to also give you all a testimony about how Cohen was talking about how you circulate money and utilize energy to benefit others. And Yael 110 had a similar question. I was driving down the Fairway Interstate Road here, like street, and we were at a light, and there was this man at that light, with a sign, trying to get food, water, whatever he can get, money, to maintain himself. And down here in San Antonio it's pretty hot, and it caught my attention. I always see a lot of people doing that. I'm pretty sure you see the same thing in your cities as well, towns wherever you're located. But what really caught my attention is that this man was begging for money. But get this, at the same time, he had this nice little shaggy dog with him. And what caught my attention was this man's action. This man, it's hot as their proverbial hell. And here he is with his dog, and sun beating down on him at a stoplight. And he takes the time to open up his little backpack that he had, because you can tell he had everything in his backpack. And that's he had all his his whole life was in his backpack. And he took the time to take out some food to feed his dog. Oh, shaggy little cute little dog. And he's sitting there feeding his dog. At the same time, this man is begging for food for himself, but He took the time. He took the time to sit there and make sure his dog was cared for. I was like, Baruch Hashem. That's just great. And I had made this comment to someone this week, a young teenager girl. You know, teenagers, they're big on relationships. And, you know, you all are one teenager at one time or another where, you know, your hormones kick in and you're big on establishing relationships and you're so-called in love. How many of you have been there at one time? You know, you're a teenager, you're in love. You know, I left her with something and she had these cats with her, little baby cat. I said, you know, in a relationship, you know how you judge if you have a good relationship with another person, male or female, really doesn't matter. Look at how they treat their pets. Look at how they treat their pets. If they treat their pets well, they're going to treat you well as well. But if they don't treat their pets well, whatever that pet may be, cat, dog, bird, you know, ferret, whatever it may be, parrot, if they don't treat that pet well, then I would run away from them 10 miles because they're not going to treat you well either. And, you know, her eyes lit up like, wow. You know, I said, you take that and you go tell 10 other people that same thing. You tell your friends that same thing. It'll keep them out of a lot of trouble, a lot of mishap, a lot of their proverbial heartbreaks and this, that, the other, and the third. So when I saw this man, you know, feeding his little shaggy dog in the heat of the day, and I'm like, man, at the same time, you know, he's hand to mouth himself. So I circulated a $5 bill and I gave it to him, and I tell you what, you could just sense the energy in this man. You know, his energy meter went up tenfold. He was so happy with a $5 bill. I tell you what, it was just it was an experience that I'll never forget, because I began to really see that, you know, not only am I helping this man, but he, more importantly, is helping me. Because what is he doing? And he's helping the universe as well. He's helping his dog too as well. What is he doing? He's actually making this world a better place by putting more positive energy, by being excited, by being happy. Do you get it, Mishpah? So it's just not the point of just giving, like our Queen was talking about. It goes to many different levels, and, you know, it's beneficial not only to that individual, but it's like a trickle-down effect. And we're going to be talking about some trickle-down in a minute as well. But I think that's very, very vital and important to understand. As we are in North America, we are in the season of what they call voting. At this time right now, we're in this season. And what you'll note during this time of voting that, and I wrote this down during Hakoi's lecture, that there are many promises out there, many promises. And not only during the time of voting, but in your relations. How many of you have been promised many things in your relations with whoever? A family member, a friend, or a loved one. Has anybody ever been promised anything? Put up a capital P. If you've been promised, and you just, okay, in your relation, somebody has promised you something. They promised you whatever it may be. Promises were made. Now, it's important, as I call you, you're going to hear a lot of keywords come out here, so just bear with me. It's important that you understand what Hakohin, the priest, was talking about here when he talked about popularity. You see, promises sometimes can be popular, but if the promises do not produce anything, then what is a promise but just empty words, correct? So it's very, very important during this time of election time, this time where, you know, you do have to make a vote, or if you want to make a vote, it's your free will to do. If you don't want to, then it's your free will not to do. But note this, and be on guard at this point, is that every area of your life, you're always making a vote. If you breathe and you're voting on something, you're voting on, you know, what you're going to wear in the morning, you're voting on what you're going to eat for breakfast, you're always voting on something. You're voting on who you're going to go out with, who you're going to take to dinner. You know, you're voting on what food you're going to buy at the grocery store. You're always making some kind of vote, a decision, a choice. So it's very, very important. Now, I wrote this down. There are many promises, but who produces? See, that's what's key, not the promise. And I want you to look at this in every area of your relations. Who's producing for you? To me, less promise but more produce. Matter of fact, you don't even have to promise, just produce. And that's Israel in a nutshell. That's Israel in a nutshell. We just produce. The promises are already there. The covenant is there. So now we're benefactors of the producing. And another thing that I'd like to talk about, as Kohen talked about, the personages of Yeshua or Yahushua or Yahushai, however they want to pronounce the name. Now, I'm going to go into our history and I'm going to go into our Torah, which we're uplifting and celebrating and respecting and just giving esteem to our Torah during this season of High Holy Days. I want to read something to you. It's very, very important. Daniel says, like Rabbi Benia says, I need to see results. Yeah, it's got to be about what's being produced, not the promise. But, look at the production side of it. And I guarantee you want to be just and right and fair because you come from the same DNA as El Shaddai, source energy. So if you base your premise and use that as one of your PowerPoints and making your decisions, you're doing yourself a great service. Because you're looking at the production. What was produced behind all of the rhetoric and the mumble? What was produced? And that's what you should look at and examine that in every area and facet of your life. But when we look at the personages of Yahushua ben Nun, look at Deuteronomy. And again, I read from the Abrahamic-Faith Bible, Hebrew Grace goes, Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 9. And Yahushua, or Yehoshua, son of Nun, was full of the Ruach, the spirit of wisdom, for Moshe had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel listened to him and did as Yahweh commanded Moshe. Now, when we look at Yahushua or Yehoshua ben Nun here, this is a man, and he was a man and he lived and he did great things, right? But what is Yahushua ben Nun known for? One of the main things he's known for in our history as one of our great patriarchs. What is he known for doing? And this verse is giving you a clue of what his role is to be. What is his main role? What was his main role? Yeshua ben Nun, the son of Nun. What was his main role? Conquering the promised land? There you go, Eddies. Or how about ushering the children of Israel into the promised land? Correct? He was the leader that took them in. Moses didn't do it. Yeshua did it. Now, pay close attention to this. Yahushua did it. Yahushua brought them into the promised land. Who brought them into the promised land? Yahushua. Rescue did. Rescue brought them into the promised land. Moses left the children of Israel with these last words. Rescue brought them into the promised land. Think about that. I'm not knocking Yeshua ben Nun, but let's get to the source and the meat and potatoes, and I'm just giving you a second witness to what Akoya was talking about when he talked about Yeshua ben Yosef and what they call the New Testament today. It all hinges back on rescue. Yeshua ben Nun, rescue brought him into the promised land, the land flowing with milk and honey. Correct? I hope my desire is that all of you, the wise, will understand. It's the children of Israel. Well, the Hebrews at that time needed rescue, and they wanted rescue in the form of land. I hope you all see that. It's beautiful. My desire is that you see it, because I don't hope. But my desire is that all of you really get that. And it's the segue right into our point, into our pivotal point of these high holy days. It's the Torah that gives you the rescue. Torah is rescue. It's synonymous. So do you see it? Yeshua ben Nun was full of the Ruach and was able, rescue brought him and ushered the Hebrews to the land flowing with milk and honey, and brought them over to the other side of Yarden, Bukashem, of the Jordan River. Bukashem is the rescue. But that's not the focus. Rescue doesn't get the popularity vote. Why? It's because, people like to look at the person. And they focus too much on the person, and thus they miss the bigger picture. You know what I mean? So I'm so happy for HaKohen helping us understand the bigger picture for those that are wise to understand it. Rescue, Mishpahah. Rescue. And again, let's put some more testimony to it. The last words that Moses told the children of Israel as he was, extolling them and really giving them motivation and really telling them, you know what the word for me this week was in my meditations? It was winner, winner, winner. And I'm not talking about the season winner, but I'm talking about winner. W-I-N-N-E-R, winner. How many of you have used that word this week or even this month? Winner. That's a powerful word. All of you in this room that have embraced the Torah, you're already a winner. And you need to start calling yourself a winner. Because a lot of times, logic will come in and tell you you're a loser. Or your neighbor will tell you you're a loser. Or your spouse will tell you you're a loser. Or your siblings will tell you you're a loser. Or your children will tell you you're a loser. You hear loser a lot, but you don't hear winner. And you need to hear winner and be winner and do winner and produce winner because you are a winner. Winner, winner, winner. I am a winner. But I didn't succeed at it. Doesn't matter. I am a winner. But that didn't work out the way I thought. But I am a winner. Do you get it? Because logic is going to come in and tell you everything else counter to that. Going to antagonize winner with everything else that he'll throw at you in your kitchen sink to make you feel like that you're not. To bring you down a few levels. You are a winner. And so Moses, at the end of his stay on the face of this earth, this go round, left the children of Israel with this in one of his last statements and his cheerleading speech that he was giving to the children of Israel to go on and be winners, not losers, not giving up, but to always persist and always produce positivity. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 29. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, O people rescued by who? By Yahweh. You see, here's my third witness to what Akoy was talking about, rescue. Who is our rescue? Yahweh is our rescue. Don't focus too much on the man, and I'm not diminishing the man's role in no instance, but we have to look at the bigger picture. You see? The bigger picture is Yahweh is our rescue. So where is Yahweh? Yahweh's within you and me. Yahweh's not at the temple ruins where me and Hakoim and a couple of others went down there and tell her off. Yahweh's within us, within you and I. That's what we're tapping into. And that's bullseye. Look forward to the book. That's bullseye. Because you're not hitting on the outside of that target. They put up that target and your arrows are not hitting in the white part. You're hitting direct bullseye at that red. You see what I mean? Most people the arrows are still hitting on the outside in the white, on the perimeter of the target. No, you're center mass. You're bullseye. When you understand, and you know that all your desires are fulfilled within, because Yahweh is your rescue. Torah tells us he was our rescue when Yahushua ben Nun ushered the children of Israel. And how fitting. I mean, what's in a name, Mishpahah? I will submit to you everything's in a name. How many of you would agree with me? Yeshua, Yahushua ben Nun was not given that name by happenstance. It wasn't just the flip of a coin, Oliver. Seriously, man. It was not just, okay, I'm going to wake up today and we're going to call our son Yahushua or Yahushua. No, there's more to it than that, Mishpahah. Everything's in a name. You name it, you claim it. You name it, you own it. You name it, you'll be it. So maybe there's some name changing that needs to go on. And maybe we need to stop calling people some other kind of names outside of their name. Or maybe we need to give them names of, and you know, even if the person is name negative, we need to infuse and empower them with name positive. You don't want to match name negative with name negative, because what do you get out of that? You get a fight. You see, you start talking about my mama, and I'm going to talk about your mama, then guess what? Guess what? You're going to get a fight. That's just, I mean, that's basics 101. But again, if you start talking about my mama, then I'm going to say, no, my mama isn't outside of, my mama isn't a female dog. My mama is a queen. See, you diffuse and you empower that negative naming with positive naming. You understand what I'm saying? And that's very important. And you can take that aspect and apply it in every one of your relationship statuses and your relationship situations and experiences. We empower positivity, not negativity. So Deuteronomy 33-29, happy are you, O Israel. Are you happy today, Israel? Because that's what Moses left us with. Musa say, be happy. Happy are you, O Israel, if you're Israel. I know a lot of people that's not Israel, and they're totally happy too. And I'm happy for them. I know a lot of Christians, and they're not Israel, and they're totally happy. They are totally happy. And I'm happy for them as well. Because you don't have to be Israel to be happy, do you? But Moses is telling his people, look, Israel, you need to be happy. So if you're listening via YouTube right now, you're live in this room, and you're not happy, and yet you under this umbrella, and you celebrate this Torah of Moses like I'm celebrating it, Baruch Hashem, and really, you know, putting focus on it the way I put focus on it, and it doesn't make you happy, I don't care what's going on around you, it doesn't matter, because you're happy. Because rescue, you're already filled with the rescue that's required for whatever is making you unhappy. Unless you're just happy being unhappy, and I do know people that's like that. And I tell you what, I say, hey, continue to be unhappy if it's going to make you happy. But I'm not going to sit here and bottle feed and force feed somebody to eat this delicious steak with that garlic butter on top of it if all they want to eat is some top ramen. I'm not going to do that. And this is, I'm watering down what Akoy was giving the example of that super Hebrew student over there that's over there trying to force Christians, into following the laws of Moses when Christians are ignorant to the laws of Moses and they don't give a flying fruit about the laws of Moses. It's because they caught up on that popular figure called Jesus and not on rescue, Baruch Hashem. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't have that part yet. And that's okay. If they're happy with Jesus, then I'm telling you, let them be happy. But at the end of the day, Hakoy is totally right. It's not a popularity contest, but guess what? If the Torah said we're to be happy, are the people around us, should we be making people mad? Think about that. That's a poor witness to the Torah if we're making people mad, right? So, correction came in for that student over there, and Hakoy had to give him some correction. Christians shouldn't be mad at me. Actually, Christians love me. Christians not mad at me because I'm not judging them. But yet Christians judge me all the time, and I blow it off. And I give them positive energy. I say, oh, great, thank you so much. You know, Jesus says for you to love those that hate you. You see, you throw that Jesus right back at him. But you throwing it to him from a rescue perspective. That's bullseye. You see? You don't fight fire with more fire, because then you get fires like in California, and we don't want that, do we? How many of you are guilty of doing that at one time or another? I totally am. I was one of those Hebrew warriors and super Hebrews that I'm going to go out and I'm going to save the whole world, and that's my mandate. Well, that wasn't my mandate. And I had to learn how to mind my business. I couldn't be focusing on nobody else's business because I had too much business I had to take care of. My business. Still to this day, I have a lot of business that I'm taking care of. It's my business. I'm not going to focus on somebody else's business. Not my business to be in a business. That makes total business sense. You understand what I'm saying? Mind your business. A lot of folks waste a lot of good energy in other people's business. This Amy woman that wants to be the next Supreme Court, going through the hiring process to be a Supreme Court member is like, my goodness, they open up your closet and see what kind of toilet paper you're using. And so they're looking at her adopting those 2 children from Haiti. And I tell you, she's getting scrutinized for adopting 2 children from Haiti. I tell you what, I commend her just for that. Because I know how Haiti is. And that's a poor country. And for those children to get any kind of form of quality of life by bringing them to a free country, are you going to condemn a woman for doing that? Regardless of her political stance. You know what? That's just right and fair. So they say, oh, she's just using these children as props. Are you freaking kidding me? But yet, that's how some people think. Their thought process is to always nurture negativity and not positivity. To infuse negativity and not to infuse positive energy in the situation. You're Israel. You're light. Light is so positive, darkness can't even be around it. You see what I'm saying? That's how, when light comes in, it's so positive that darkness disappears. That's beautiful, isn't it? And all of us, family, we have the capability and the capacity to do that very same thing. Because just like Moses said in Deuteronomy 33 and 29, just like Moshe said, happy are you, O Israel. You should be happy. You should be happy. So if you happy, then everybody else around you is going to be, I don't care if they agree with you or not. You can agree to disagree and still be friends. How many of you have friends like that? You guys don't agree. You agree to disagree and you guys are still best of friends. That's beautiful. Because you guys can both be happy. And you guys can sit down and be grown folks and not have to have everybody in the room agree with you. What is that? That sounds like communism to me. Marxism. When you got to get everybody to agree with you or you hate them. Or are they of the devil because they don't believe the way you believe. They don't eat certain foods that you eat. Because they eat pork and you don't. So you can't be friends? Oh, no. I got a sister that's a Christian and a minister of the Christian faith. And when we come together, I grill her the biggest pork chop I can find. Because that makes her happy, eating her pork chop. And I put it on 2 pieces of bread, just the way she likes it, with a little mayo on it. Because that's what she likes. And if that makes my sister happy, then so be it. Ooh, Rabbi Kefa, I can't believe you. You see? There you go. There you go. You see? I'm not there to judge my sister. I'm not there to judge my sister under the Torah standard that she's so far away from Moses because she's married to Jesus. You see? So how am I going to... I can't do that. I love my sister. And I'm going to show compassion to my sister because I'm Israel. I'm light. I infuse love and compassion and joy to all of those who are around you. It's intoxicating and it's contagious. It's more contagious than that coronavirus, than that COVID virus. We must learn, family members, to be assisters in this area, to assist those who, for lack of understanding, are just ignorant to the fact of what rescue really is. You gotta give them the remember we talked about, you gotta give them the evidence. You gotta produce something for them. Produce positivity, produce happiness, infuse it, even if they haters. Even haters have some spot of happiness in them. You just gotta find it and push that button. So for 1 nanosecond, they can have a sense of peace and a sense of happiness about it before they go back on their wild tangent of just hating everything and everybody that doesn't totally agree with them or think the way they think. You're students of humanity. If you have embraced this Torah in any inkling, you must understand that you're a student of humanity, because happiness is for people. Just like Akoy said, in this high political season that we're in, and politics is going to always be with humanity as humanity spins, as the earth turns around the moon. You see? Is that we have to produce. Forget about politics and who we're producing for. We're producing for the people. Torah is for people. Torah is for people. I'm going to say it again. Torah is for people. Torah is the rescue that people need. I don't know one person on the face of this earth that don't need some form of rescue. Rescue in their health, rescue in their finances, rescue in their relations. Rescue. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Give thanks always. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you. So don't be surprised when people go, man, what's wrong with you? You're different. Because there's no one like me. Moses said it. Who is like you? Oh, people rescued by who? By Yahweh. The shield of your health. And who is the sword of your excellency? Baruch Hashem. You're excellent. You look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're excellent. You're not mediocre. You don't look in the mirror and see Steve Urkel. You look in the mirror and you see the Hulk, because you're excellent. You see Denzel. You see J-Lo, because that's who you are. You're excellent. And your enemies shall be found as liars to you. The Torah said your enemies will be found as liars. The Torah didn't tell you to go tell them that they're lying to you. You see? Because then you get judgmental. The Torah didn't tell you to go tell them like Hakoi's student. Christmas is a lie and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to hell. And no, the Torah didn't tell you. Your enemies shall be found liars to you. They shall be found liars. You don't have to go tell them that they're liars. Oh, you lying, you liars, you in the den of thieves and blah, blah, blah. And you shall tread upon their high places, because you're servants to the Most High. So you should always be treading in high places. Never see yourself as low. You're high in a humble way. Never see yourself as low. Never see yourself as downtrodden, run up. No. Moses didn't leave us with those words. He left us with words of empowering us with positive energy to help us rescue ourselves to our promised land. How many of you are looking for a land flowing with milk and honey today? It could be in the form of a car, in the form of a man, in the form of a woman, in the form of a house, in the form of a job. You should still be, man, listen, that's Israel's biggest mistake today for those that are not under the covering of the bullseye priesthood, is that they're waiting to go back to the land flowing with milk and honey. And I'm like, well, what are you waiting for? Have your land flowing with milk and honey right now. Oh, when we go back to the land, Rabbi. Oh, when we go back to the land. Oh, I can't wait till we go back. Well, what are you doing in the meantime? You should be going from one land flowing with milk and honey to another promised land flowing with milk and honey. Question in today is, what are you promising yourself? Have any of you ever made promises to yourself? Any of you? And our Kohen is teaching us this. And it's right, you know what's in the form of? It's in the form of your aspirations. Your aspirations. It's in the form of what you're affirming. It's in the form of your scripting. You're promising yourself these things. Do you see it? Do you get it? And if you look at the whole case study of the Hebrews in Egypt, when the Most High brought them into the wilderness, he was teaching them the same thing. Moses was teaching the children, the Hebrews, to affirm and to script. What were they scripting? Land flowing with milk and honey. 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 It's promised to you. It's promised to you. Land flowing with milk and honey. Land flowing with milk and honey. Do you get it? I hope you, my desire is that you see this, because that's just what it was. It was repetitive over and over again. Land flowing with milk and honey. Where we going? Land flowing with milk and honey. Land flowing with milk and honey. And before you know it, it took a minute. It took a period. But the children of Israel finally got it. And when they got it, rescue was nigh. You get it? I hope, my desire is that you get it. My desire is that you get it, because that is just the formula that bullseye. That is the exact formula that was happening. Hadn't changed. But it takes a period for it to marinate within the people. It's got to marinate in there, like a good marinade of that steak, like a good marinade of that chicken, like a good marinade of that lamb. It's got to marinate in there. So it may take a minute, but that's okay, because we're not subjected to time, are we? Land flowing with milk and honey. Land flowing with milk and honey. What's that promise that you made for that land flowing with milk and honey today that you have for yourself? Is it? It could be proverbial land. It could be land in America, land in Paris, land in France, land in the UK, land in the Caribbean. What do you desire for yourself? That's your promise. And you don't have to wait on it. Rescue is not. You just have to start believing it. How do you start believing it? Make it repetitive. Keep writing it. Keep scripting it. Keep affirming it. Keep visualizing it. And it will be. I can imagine, and I just see the Hebrews in the wilderness. Man, I can see them all talking, when they camped out, and everybody sitting around and shooting the breeze, and they went to the local pub, and they camped out, and they drinking wine, and they're like, man, can you imagine how that land flowing with milk and honey is? Yeah, man, I bet you know what, when I get to that land flowing with milk and honey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to start up this business, and I'm going to do that. Could you imagine all the small talk that was going on? And that's beautiful. Instead of, oh man, that's never going to happen. How do you think that's going to happen? You ain't nothing but a loser. My wife said I'm a loser. My children think I'm a loser. Lost my job. I'm a loser. No, you're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. We're Israel. Be glad. You're a winner. You're not a loser. You're a winner. You're excellent. Your excellence. And your enemies shall be found liars to you. They're going to be found liars. Not that you got to go tell them that they're lying. They'll be found liars. Don't worry about that. Put your focus on something else. Again, a lot of times humanity puts all the energy focused on the things that don't matter at the end of the day. It's not bringing them peace, love, and joy, and happiness. It's bringing them depression, anger, hate. Do you see? So this is why I wrote that statement that I'm doing on Cohen's lecture. It's important. There are many promises, but who produces? Or there are many promises, but what produces? And I submit to you this day. The Torah. the house that Moshe built. The Torah is what produces. Hands down. Bullseye. The Torah. The house that Moshe, the house that Moses built. The Torah. That is what produces. Not some empty promises. I got that with pastors enough. I got that with evangelists. I got that with all these other titles. They made a lot of promises. Oh, we'll do this, that, the other, the third. But what's the evidence on the ground? What produces? What did all those promises produce? And utilize this in your relationships, Ms. Braha. It's going to be very important if you do this, family. It's going to keep you out of a lot of drama. It's going to keep you out of a lot of just bad situations, bad experiences. Because you sit down and you take the time to assess the whole situation. Well, he tells me that he loves me, but he's kicking his dog over there. Ooh, what does that mean? He tells me, oh, he loves me all the time, and he's going to provide for me. But then I see him over there kicking his dog, and his dog looks like he hadn't eaten in a week. What does that tell? What is that? How's he going to take care of me when he can't even take care of his dog? Ring, 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 ring. There you go, bullseye. Run away like Forrest from that man, and find another man that's more suited for you. Promises, promises, promises. You're Israel, Mishpahah. Oh, be glad. Because why? We're all about the people. And we're all about the people that are around us. Torah don't discriminate against any person. Doesn't discriminate. Torah produces. In this high political season that we're in right now, here's another question I want to ask you, because this is what my lecture is based on. You know what my lecture is based on? You know what I titled my lecture today? I titled my lecture Toranomics. Toranomics. We're going to get into that in a minute. How many of you want a healthy dose of Toranomics this day? Group of shit. But I titled my lecture Toranomics. Now, there's this question, in the high political season that we're in, and whatever country you're in, you sometime or another, you're going to come around to a high political season. Now, the question that they like to ask people that vote is this. It's like, well, what do you base your vote on, Mishpahah? If I could ask you, what do you base your vote on? If you're going to vote, what are you basing on? And they asked this to the consensus, and they got several different. A lot of people base their vote on their religion, but the top two things that people base their vote on is, one of them is the economy. They'll vote for someone based upon the economy. Now, how many of you, when I say economy, what does that mean to you? They say economy, because economy was one of the top, 2 or 3 that always kept coming up when they were quizzing and querying voters on what do you base your vote on? And a lot of them said economy. So when I say economy, what does that mean to you, fam? What does that mean to you when I say economy? Anybody want to take a guess? Adam, when somebody tells you, what does economy means to you? Okay, divorce saying how I've increased financially, what they have done to help the economy. What does economy mean to you? Like, what is the economy? Daniel says the circulation of dollars, prosperity of the country, how easy it is to conduct business freely, how my lifestyle is going to be affected. Deal says wealth, to dock for your responses because there's no wrong answer, it's your opinion. Now, my question, here's the next question I have for you, family. Do all of you have an economy? Do all of you have an economy? Do you have an economy? I mean, think about that for a minute. Do you have an economy? Ask yourself that question. Do you have an economy? Do I have an economy? And again, it goes back to the question of, well, how are you producing in your economy? Are you happy with your economy? Your economy, because just like we're going to be dealing with Toranomics, there's also this thing called economics. I'm pretty sure you heard that word before, economics. There's this thing called economics. And get this, I want you to pay close attention to this. This is quite interesting as I pull this definition out of definition.org. Definition, because the nomics is what I want to focus on. See, you get it? Toranomics. So I'm like, well, what is this? What's this nomics, mumbo jumbo? Well, definition.org says the suffix nomics is a backward form from economics, which the Greek word for, well, let's go to another definition first. The definition.net says the suffix nomos, meaning law. Surprise, surprise. Meaning what, Mishpahah? Meaning law. So you can use this word, use it this week in your 6 days of labor. Go out and tell your friends, yes, nomics come from the word derived from the Greek word nomos, which means law. Go out and use that on the Greek. Meaning law. Fields ending in nomics, thus meaning law of whatever the prefix is. So when I say Toranomics, what am I actually saying? Torah law. Or law, because Torah is law. But I'm saying Torah law. So when I say economics, what am I saying? Talk about economics, what are we talking about? Well, definition.org goes on to say that nomics is the backward form from economics, from the Greek word meaning household management. Household management. So the econ meaning household management or the household law. So when I ask you the question, do all of you have an economy? You should definitely say, hell yes, Rabbi, I have an economy. Because I do have household management law. Each and every one of you, and economics to you should be very important in your Toranomics. Because Toranomics is going to be beneficial to your economics and to your economy if utilized properly. And that's bullseye. And a lot of you have already had testimony of you are witnesses and watchers to this very point. The statement that I'm making is that, Toranomics, Rubashim, I embrace Toranomics, it will definitely increase and be beneficial to your economy and your economics as well. I find that quite interesting. The word economy, comes from the Greek word meaning household management. How are you managing your household laws? How are you managing your household laws? Quite interesting, isn't it? Because I tell you, for a while now, Israel has, for a while now, many, many years now, Israel has been in this period right now where we're managing our household. Household management is going on. How many of you are watchers and witnesses right now to household management taking place in your situations right now? That's what's going on. Household management it's been going on for many years now. It's been going on for many, many years. That's what I'm noticing. Is that, in Toranomics, the bedrock of Toranomics is for you to get your house in order. Am I correct? You must manage your house properly. So economy in your house is going to be very important. The economics of your home is going to be very important. Very, very important. It's one of the ground roots of Toranomics. It's the basics. It's the bedrock. The Hebrews were wandering through the desert as families. Big families. Big families. They didn't have a lot of small families unless you look at the Levites. Their families were smaller than the bigger families amongst the tribes. But for the most part, I guess I'm partial to Judah. I'm looking at Judah. And Judah rolled with big families. So there's big families traveling in the desert. So basically look at it this way. These are big economies. You're looking at economies. You're looking at economies just on the move. They're traveling like we talked about last year about. They're on the move. Traveling economies going on here with Hashem. So this day, Mishpah, for you voters out there, this day, yes, we should be looking at our economy and how you're living right now. If you like the way you're living, if you think the way you're living needs to be improved, then you don't have to run to a politician to fix it. You see, because in Toranomics, you can fix it. Toranomics tells us that you can fix it and that you already have rescue. So when I read the verse there in Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 29, that Moshe left the Hebrews with before he, went to sleep with his fathers, our fathers, because his fathers is my fathers too, Rugashel, is that, for our economy to survive, and if some of you need rescue in your economic area, then you're at the right place. Because you have the keys to unlock the rescue that you require and that you want. Because like Akoin was saying in his lecture, and I totally agree with him, is that not everybody wants to be wealthy. Not everybody wants a Mercedes-Benz. Not everybody wants a Range Rover. Not everybody wants a Cadillac. Not everybody wants that, two-story house with a 3-car garage and a swimming pool. That not everybody wants that. That's not what, people desire. They don't desire those things. They desire different things. So whatever rescue you require, you already have the tools to unleash and produce that particular rescue that's needed for that particular period in your life. You don't have to run to a politician. You don't have to wait every 4 years. You don't have to wait every 2 years. You don't have to wait on what mama said. You have the ability. Your excellence. You have the ability. Thank you to the source energy for our Kohen in the gate. Now I realize I have the source within me to source whatever I desire. Source to source. That's just what it is. I'm a winner. I am a winner. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I'm not a loser. So everybody around me is going to be winners too. And if you're not, then you're not going to want to be around me because, I'm going to infuse winner mentality into you. No, you can be successful. You are successful. What do you like? What do you love? Do what you love and love what you do. Then you'll find that happiness for you. I know why you're not happy. You're not doing what you love. You just not told me you don't like to do it. Then why are you doing it? Do what you love. Do what's going to make you happy. Do what brings you joy. See, a lot of people around me in their economy, I think it was Eddie said, the circulation of dollars. In their economy, their whole mantra is that they only want to do things, they only desire things that's going to give them a lot of money. But they sacrifice that by not being happy, by not being full of joy, peace, and love. So at the end of the day, do any of you know people like that in your study of human nature? Is that they're only doing this particular thing because it just gives them a lot of money, but they're totally not happy with it. Anybody know people like that? Or is it just me in my world? I know loads of people like that. They're doing things just because it's going to make them a lot of money, or that's their idea, or it may be making them a lot of money, but they're totally not happy. They're totally unhappy. They're angry. they're depressed. And I'm like, then why do it? Do what makes you happy. And you know what? If you do what makes you happy, the money will eventually come. I guarantee you. If you're doing what makes you happy, the money will, all your desires that you want will be provided if you're doing what makes you happy. Because then you're circulating you're influencing the right circulation, you see. And so when all your circulatory systems are open and your veins and arteries are doing what it's supposed to do, the heart works less. But when there's blockage, the heart has to pump more to compensate for the blockage. Do you get it? So when you're happy, the universe is going to be able to work easier for you. You know, that's why Queen talked about blockages, right? You remember he gave us great instruction on blockage. Oh, you got blockage. That's why it's not coming through. So I had to go to the medical side to give you that analogy. You know, people with high blood pressure are people that have blockages, blocks in their arteries. That's preventing proper flow. So thus the pressure increases. So what do you do to deal with that block? You got to unblock wherever there's block. And there's many forms and many ways of doing it. Meditation is like one of the best. Yoga is another good method. You know, I was sitting in CVS the other day getting some medication for my wife. I tell you, that was a lesson in itself. Because I go in there to get the medication, and I know the pharmacist, we talk. She's a Christian lady, but she knows, here come the Jew, and we have great relations. And, you know, I went in there to get the medicine, ready to circulate the money for the medicine. She said, no, wait a minute. I got this code I'm going to put in here. So the medication was going to be like, I think, close to $40. Turned out the medication turned out to be only $5 after she did whatever she did with her plugging in whatever. And I was like, Puka Shem thing. But before that, I had to wait. I was waiting a little time for them to make this medication for my wife. And so arranging to put it together. So I'm sitting down in the chair over there, and she's dealing with other customers. And this lady's coming in, and Hakoi, she's got palpitations going on. She said she's got chest pain, Hakoi, all the signs and symptoms of, a cardiac patient. And, middle-aged woman, and I'm listening. You can't help but listen to the conversation. She's like, what do I do? Nobody wants to take my blood pressure and blah, blah, blah. And my pressure's still up and I'm on all this medication. It's not working. And, the pharmacist gave her some advice and she was walking away. And I said, ma'am, ma'am, you need to start practicing yoga and you need to start meditating. You need to quit worrying so much. Well, I know I'm doing this, but I said, well, you need to do these things so you can calm down and bring that pressure down. So very important. She said, thank you. I said, yeah, it's so very important that you do that. Start meditating. Quiet time. Practice, get in your Zen moment. Bring some institute peace around you. Because in this world, life can get hectic if we allow it. If you allow it, life can be very hectic because the world runs on that. That's the fuel for the world to be fast-paced and hectic. We have to slow it down. Show folks that you can profitable, successful, happy life can be done. I say, walk around like ants, but not anymore. It's like dead. There's nobody on the streets anymore. Matter of fact, a lot of people are making a mass exodus out of New York and going down there to Hakohin's residence, down there to Florida. Mass exodus. Some of them coming to Texas, but they're going down there to Florida and setting up shop. COVID has done that, and what the leadership has produced out of the COVID incident, and people are just fleeing out of New York like no man's business. And we're talking about people with the circulation of money, Eddies. We're talking about people, millionaires and billionaires that are leaving New York and finding greener pastures down south. You see. Ted is saying, I'm in New York now. People working in the city are not happy with the leadership there. To say the least, I can guarantee you. And they're not just only saying it with their lips. They're saying it with their bank accounts, and they're saying it with Tom and Jerry, with their left foot and right foot. And many of them are taking the necessary steps to move on to greener pastures. See. And he says that they leave for the suburbs where I am, leaving the big cities. So these are the things that you have to look, as students of human nature, you have to look at what's producing. Believe me, Florida's producing. We don't have to pay no state tax, and you get all kind of tax benefits. I mean, tax benefits, and all the wealthy people have a house in Florida and in Texas, and I wonder why. Because there's benefits there. These states produce benefits, and people flock to that. It's just human nature. Not so much to get a discount, per se. That thought is not about a discount, but to have a better quality of life. I mean, how many of you want a better quality of life? You want the best quality of life that you could have while you walk on the face of this earth. Well, then, and Hakohen, and it came to my mind this week as well. Hakohen has been telling people to leave California for I don't know how many years. With all of these things going on, the political side amongst what's going on with Mother Nature, and people still don't get it. And I'm like, man, he's been saying that for years to leave. You had enough warning, for years to leave California and find greener pastures so that you can have a better quality of life and live a peaceful life. But again, I mean, we can say it until the cows come home, and we'll continue to say it, but this is the evidence. This is what is being produced on the ground, you see. This is what is being produced on the ground. You got to look at production, not at what they're promising you. Yeah, they may be promising you sunny beaches and, nice sunny beaches and good weather and blah, blah, blah. But what is being produced behind all them promises is loads of taxes, high unemployment. You got to look at the evidence on the ground. How are the people living? Not the wealthy. How are, the least in the kingdom living? That's what's important to look at. How are they being taken care of? And like Hakohen said, that's when you're dealing with what's just and right and fair. And this is when we talk about Toranomics. Toranomics is all about the people. How we treat people. Not so much how people treat us, but I guarantee you, your witness should be, if I go to your city, I go to your town, people shouldn't hate you. They should say, man, that's a good man, that's a good woman. They may not agree with you, but you shouldn't have a consensus of hate going on. That's not conducive. People should, man, that's a good man. He does good things. He's a very caring person. He always makes me laugh or blah, blah, whatever. But they shouldn't be saying, man, I hate that dude. That dude is always judging me, telling me I'm going to hell, telling me that God doesn't love me and that I'm satanic and I'm in blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? Daniel is saying, I saw a news documentary that was speaking on the fire marshal, that was speaking to the fire marshal of the state of California, and he said that in his studies of the environment that the state of California and the fires are just starting and will new much worse in time to come. And will get much worse in the time to come. My goodness. Hint, hint. I mean, you've been getting, maybe you can't pick up and move yesterday, but you need to be planning to make a promise to yourself to produce somewhere outside of California so that you can have a peaceful life and a life that's just more abundantly and more abundant That's what's very important at the end of the day. My desire is for everybody in this room, listening via YouTube, inside or out the Torah, under the house that Moses built or not, is to have an abundance of a life. And I can guarantee you that there are people who don't embrace the Torah of Moshe, don't embrace the Torah of Moses, and they're living an abundance of a life. Why is that? Because of their mindset. Because of their mindset. And I guarantee you, a lot of them are putting into practice some of the principles of Toranomics, and they run with it. They may just be dipping their feet in the water of the Torah, but they run with those principles of Toranomics, and it works. And they're happy. And they're full of peace and love and joy. And they're giving back to their community, and they're helping other people in however form, fashion they desire to help other people, and they're happy with their lives. And I say, so be it. And I say, best endeavors. Everybody don't have to believe the way you believe, Mishpah. I mean, we're in a high political season over here, and people come around you asking who you vote for, what you voting for, who you like. I mean, my goodness, I like everybody. I tell them, they say, what's your party? I say, I'm part of the Green Party. My party is money. I love money. Money loves me. We have a relationship that's going to last forever. Like, what the heck is he talking about? I didn't even know there was a money party. I'm a part of the Green Party. That's my party. I'm part of the Green Party. And I'm not talking about your Green New Deal. I'm talking about the Green Party. The dollar bill, the almighty dollar. We have a relationship that's going to last forever. And I have money coming in from all directions. Baruch Hashem. They're like, what the heck? I asked you who you vote for. I vote for money. And they're like, what? You see, because they want you to take a stance. And my stance is that everybody's happy, full of joy and peace, however you find it. Like Corey said, good vote. I vote for money. That's why I vote for money. I love money. Money loves me, man. And I vote for money. I vote for money. I vote for money. Money is an awesome energy. Because with money, I see what money, I told you earlier, I'm very close. Toranomics is awesome, but I told you earlier about what money did for that homeless man who was feeding his dog. Oh man, it just empowers energy. That's just one example. And so not only is that homeless man happy, but his dog is happy because, he's got more meals coming, Baruch Hashem. So it produces, a lot of great energy. This is why, like you said, it's very important that you have a positive relationship with money. So money will come to you. But if you're kicking money around and you're beating money up, do you think money's going to try to knock at your door? I submit to you not. Money's going to do like Forrest and run 10 miles away from you. But if you embrace money and you love money and you speak good about money, money will speak good about you and love you and embrace you and come to you from all directions. It will, and it does. Money is energy, just like everything else around you is energy. How are you treating it? Health is energy, just like everything else around you. How are you treating it? I mean, I go up and talk to people and say, yeah, well, my head hurts and I got this pain. I think I got tendonitis there. I'm like, my goodness. You're not treating health too well, are you? I mean, if you know people like that. The first thing they want to talk about, oh, yeah, and, my back is hurting. That means rain is coming. And I'm like, what the hell? They give you a full rundown of how health is just running them down. So what do you do in those kind of situations? I say, you know what? You're a young whippersnapper. You're a spring chicken. What you talking about? They're like, huh? I'm a spring chicken? I was like, yeah, you're a spring chicken. See, you have to reverse psychology on these people. That's how you infuse positivity, because their mindset is just all screwed up. And I know Hakoin is dealing a lot, based upon the political system that he's dealing with over there. A lot of people are the reciprocal of being in a mindset of poverty because they're not getting no help. So of course what are they thinking? They hand them out. Oh, I can't pay this, I can't do this, I can't. So he has to infuse positivity into them, say, yes, you can, you can. And, it's within you. Don't blame it on the leadership. Yeah, they screwed up. But let's get your leadership right. Let's fix your situation. And we can begin to help people around you, and it can become contagious. More contagious than the COVID. And spread, you see. People need this in today's time. That's how we give back to our communities. That's how we let our light shine. It's not walking around with a candle, Mishpachah. It's not just telling them Jesus loves them. If I just look at that homeless guy at the stop sign and just be like, hey man, God bless you, man. What is those words, God bless him, doing to him? How is that, what is that producing? But you put that 5 note in his hand, and guess what I produced? Happiness, joy, excitement. So I'm just sitting there looking at him. I'm like, man, this dude's jumping up. He's jumping up and down and he grabbed his dog. I was like, wow, that's just a 5 note. But look what it did. Small things do big things for others. Well, you may see as small, maybe huge and gigantic for someone else. Never discount it as small. If you infuse in positive energy, and that's Toranomics. Toranomics is, like I already said, yes, it's all about the people. It's all about how people want to live. And you just let them live how they want to live, how they happy living. Now, if they come into you and say, look, I want to change how I'm living and I want to live this way, can you help? Oh, absolutely. We can help. We can help. But when light comes in the room and you like darkness and you want to disappear, then you don't want help. And light is not going to chase you down. I'm not chasing. I've learned it the hard way with Hakohi, is that, look, Torah don't go running after nobody. Torah doesn't go to nobody. You come to the Torah. We learned that after many frequent flower mouths. You learn that. He said, you don't have to go bring Torah. No, let Torah come to, let the people come to the Torah. That's important. Devorah says, I gave a homeless man $2 and you would have thought he had won a lottery. Oh, indeed, Devorah. But more importantly, Devorah, I want you to, in the future, and feel his energy, because his energy becomes your energy. And you make the war more energetic in a positive way. And that attracts more energy to you, because you're giving out energy. Guess what's coming back to you? That same energy. Devour his energy of that happiness that you, and that lottery feeling. It's beautiful, isn't it, Devorah? It's beautiful. It's contagious. It's beautiful. Because they sincerely, not like these chicken wing games they playing over there in Africa, where they're trying to hoodwink and bamboozle you. And all these scams going on. No, they sincerely, you see it. You sit there and you produce positive energy by producing joy. You see it. Toranomics. You see it. And you're like, wow, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I tell you what, I'll never forget the face of that homeless man with his dog. And here this man is, a selfless act. He feeding his dog and making sure his dog is cared for. At the same time, he handing them out. And I'm like, my goodness. I'm going to circulate monies that way for sure. Baruch Hashem. It's beautiful. It's just, life is so beautiful. This Torah that we have is so beautiful. Toranomics should be the economy, to be the economics for the whole world is Toranomics. But it's not, and so be it. Because, Toranomics is not popular. What's popular is political. Political and promises, that's popular. But we leave them to it, and we'll continue on doing our necessaries. We'll continue on doing our necessaries, Mishpachah. That's what we're going to do. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up my lecture for this part. And my desire, I wish you all a great 6 days of labor ahead. Simchat Torah's coming in. And these festivals are not mandated, but, these are great traditions to keep. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to keep them. So, Shemini, Etseret, and then the Simchat Torah. These are two that I would definitely keep because I lift this Torah up and I appreciate and respect the house that Moses built for all of us by giving us the written Torah that we. Now that was Torah before Moses. Don't get let's not get it twisted. But the Torah wasn't written down the way we have it now, laid out for us and then instructed to us by a son of Aaron like we have it now. I mean, right now it's dead bullseye. We have a dead bullseye now. We have it. Everything that you desire for yourself is within your region. You just have to go get it. Rescue is here. You just have to receive it. The rescue is already here. For whatever your rescue form you want to see at Toranomics already has the rescue included. It's already included. That's Toranomics. The question is, what do you want to be rescued of? What are you writing in your scripting? What are you affirming? What are you visualizing? That's your rescue. Your rescue could be that Mercedes-Benz. Your rescue could be that Range Rover. Your rescue could be that wonderful wife, look like J-Lo. Your rescue could be that Denzel. Your rescue could be that house. Whatever it is, reel it in. Because Toranomics says that you can have it, and you do have it. Baruch Hashem. And you have the keys, you have the tools, and you have the capabilities. Being under the covering of the Kohen in the gate, he's going to give you the keys, give you the instruction that retrofit to fit you, the individual person amongst the family. That's just what it is. Life is so simple. We don't have to complicate it anymore. And we don't have to fill it with all this foolish conditioning and all of this mumbo jumbo that's out here to leave you in fear, to leave you in doubt, to leave you depressed, to leave you anxious. There's no time for all that. Do you know every 4 years they say the same thing, and you can go back and find it every 4 years. This is the most important election ever. They make that statement every 4 years, and yet people are all anxious when they hear this on the media because they keep telling you the same thing over and over again. And so you begin to think they say, oh, this is the most important election in the history of elections. I'm like, man, shut up. Shut up. It's old news. This is such old news. It holds no water, it holds no weight for me. It's just pig water, and I don't drink it. And so we don't need to be drinking from all this pig water out there because it'll affect us in a way to where your Toranomics won't work for you. Don't drink the pig water. Drink from the living waters. Leave that pig water alone. Leave the pig water for the pigs. That's who it was intended for. Leave the pig water for the pigs. I tell you, and that brings me to this point as well. And I know some, milk is milk. But again, my friends, why is your wife breastfeeding your baby and blah, blah, blah? I said, because mother's milk is better than cow's milk for my baby. Cow's milk was meant for cows, not for baby calves, not for my son. My son is going to drink his mother's milk. On that note, I'll wrap it up on that note. So go out and drink some milk. Well, yeah, in the medical field, I get that question a lot. Because, a lot of women in the West don't want to breastfeed. They find it painful. Cosmetically, it's not cool. It's more of a burden than a blessing. So what's the quick fix? Get some formula, mix it together, and give it to your baby. But is that the healthiest route for that baby? Of course not. Mother's milk is the best. This is why the young lion Nachshon is so strong and powerful like he is, because he's on mother's milk. I'm so grateful for that, Baruch Hashem. And she's still supplying. And so that's what you deal with. So again, people have different, ideas and choices, and you leave them to it. So on that note, we'll wrap it up for the Shabbat. I'll say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to all of you, Mishpachah. And you guys have a great 6 days of labor ahead. And continue to be those students of nature and continue to go out and infuse positive, productive, producing energy to the nations that we're in. Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to y'all. I love you all, and I leave you in the mighty hands of the Most High and his priesthood, Akohi, Rabbi Simon out. Over to you, Akohi.
Todah for that, Rabbi Kefa. We'll wrap up at this end as well, and have a great Simchat Torah ahead. and a great week ahead. And until next time, we'll see you there. Shabbat Shalom, Hagadol, and Shalom Shalom.